Welcome to Vermontitude, a collaborative effort between Great Eastern Radio, the Brattleboro Reformer, and BCTV to bring you the stories behind the stories on the topics you want to learn more about. Because there's always more, so there'll always be Vermontitude. Hosted by me, Peter Fish Case. Welcome to Vermontitude. New episodes drop every Tuesday and can be found by going to vermontitude.com, reformer.com, brattleboro.tv, and locally on Comcast Channel 1078. We come to you from our studios at the Innovation Box on Flat Street. I'm Peter Fish Case, and each week I cover the topics that are of concern to Windham County and the towns that reside within its borders. Today we're talking with founder and executive director of Food Connects, Richard Berkfield. Food Connects delivers locally sourced food and boasts as part of its mission that they will transform the local food system. Richard, welcome.
Thanks.
All right.
Great to be here.
Let's get right into it, man. What do you mean by transform the local food system?
That's a good question. I think for us, mostly it means more community-based control over our food system. So historically, a lot of farms and food producers in Vermont produce food. We've got a rich agricultural heritage here, but we tend to send it off to the urban areas and where people have more resources than we do here.
Right.
And then we've got a bunch of people here who, as I think you've talked about many times, we have people in food insecurity here.
Yeah.
So we've got people that don't have enough food to eat, yet we're a rich agricultural heritage state. So for us, it means putting people first. So making sure that we're supporting our local producers and also making sure that the people here are eating that food that we are producing.
Right. I think it's great. And, I'm a big fan of doing things locally. I'm a big fan of discussing things locally. So this is really good. Now, explain the concept to Food Connects. And honestly, why do we care?
Good question. I think an important component of Food Connects is that while we are a nonprofit, we see ourselves as a social enterprise. So we're trying to use the market. We're trying to act as a business, but not be profitable on the backs of our food producers that we work with. So we buy food from over 125 local farms and food producers, and we sell wholesale to a roughly 250 wholesale customers. So we're selling to schools, we're selling to hospitals, we're selling to retail stores and farm stands where people in our community can access this food.
So you're buying from our neighbors and delivering it to our neighbors.
That's right.
All right. I like that. So speaking of our neighbors, I know that in the Brattleboro area, we fared fairly well in this last round, but how is this impacting some of the flooding that's been going on, like in Westminster, Ludlow, that area?
Yeah, as far as I know, we did do okay here in Windham County, but I think that Harlow Farm and Allen Brothers Farm and some other farms farther north have, seen pretty devastating effects. And for many farms, the season is over for them. So I think what's really important that people can do is visit farm stands, try to buy food from these farms that still have food, and just reach out to farmers if you know them, and make sure that they know that we're going to help make it through this time, and keep buying from them and keep seeing their value in what they do for us.
Yeah. Again, if you're clothed, you can somehow thank a farmer, I think. Isn't that the saying?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into the vision. Now, Food Connects just kicked off a capital campaign. Let's talk about that campaign and what are the goals of the campaign, and where do you hope to be in 5 years?
Yeah, great. So as I mentioned earlier, we're buying from a lot of farms and food producers, and we've got increasing demand from customers and also from producers. So we're running out of space. We've been leasing 7,500 square feet, and that is not enough. Last year, we grew our sales over 50%. This year, we're on track to go over 35%. And we'll be selling about $3.5 million worth of food during this year. And we need more cold storage. We need a big freezer. We need a big cooler, and we need a place for dry storage. So the campaign is really about building a big cooler and a big freezer so that we can store more food.
All right. So, and then again, that allows you to buy more from local farmers and then serve back out to local folks here. Well, what is the distribution area for? Because it covers, Food Connects covers both Windham and Cheshire County, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Actually, we've grown much beyond that now. We're serving Western Massachusetts, as well as we make a regular delivery route to Burlington.
Okay.
So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. So a good story that I like to tell is we work with Yala, based here in Brattleboro.
Love those guys.
They produce hummus for wholesale customers, and they sell through us, and we're able to get their hummus throughout the state. So we're getting that up into Burlington, we're getting that up into Montpelier and areas throughout the state, and into New Hampshire. Right. So what we do is create new markets for them. They're busy producing the hummus.
Sure.
We can pick it up on our truck. We can deliver it to the customers that we already have, and they don't have to worry about that. They can just worry about production.
So so what you do in essence is, if you will, I mean, like the number one thing most businesses need is like some sales representation, and you kind of you offer that for a small farmer that doesn't really know how to, outside of just putting a farm stand with an honor system in it. You give them a bigger platform in which to kind of produce and create revenue.
That's right. The work of a farmer is, wide ranging, from being a mechanic to growing in the fields, to marketing and selling and social media. And that's just a lot to ask of an individual or of a small team. So, that is where we step in. We are able to figure out the food that they have and then be able to sell that to our customers and, pick up from the farm. We have 5 refrigerated vehicles. So we go to the farm and we pick up for them, and then we bring it back to our warehouse where we need more storage capacity, and then we deliver it to all these customers.
So when do you hope to have all, like, I mean, in an ideal, in a perfect world, everything goes seamlessly and you're in your new facility? Like, what's your ideal for that?
Well, we've got a couple phases, actually. So we did order panels for a 1,600 square foot cooler and a 800 square foot freezer, which is going to be significant impact on our operations. But that should happen sometime this fall.
Oh, all right.
And then there's some other pieces that we need to add to that. So another cooler and another freezer as we continue to grow.
Right. So this is all, and you're all going to try to keeping this in Brattleboro, or you?
Yeah, it's in Brattleboro. It's in the old book press, and it's right behind Agway, that old building. So we've been working with the BDCC. They've been great partners for us in continuing to add space. We keep growing and needing space, and they've accommodated our needs.
So with needing space, I assume when you grow, you need people, right?
Right.
And and how are you guys doing with that? Are you looking to hire now?
Yeah, great question. So we are close to 30 employees right now, full-time and part-time, and we are competing, in a tight labor market. What we've found to be successful is that we've got a group of passionate people. We've got a purpose, to support the local food economy and, people in the area. So we have been pretty successful in attracting people that share that purpose. And we've also been growing a lot. So it's fun to be a part of a dynamic and growing and ever-changing environment at work.
Right.
But yeah, we do have 4 openings right now that we're trying to hire for. One in particular, I think, really hits at our mission, and it's a farm-to-school sales coordinator. So what we've been doing is selling food to dozens and dozens of schools in the area. We keep adding schools. We've got quite a bit of support from the state, both from the Agency of Education and Agency of Agriculture, to sell more food to more schools. So the position that we're trying to hire is a farm-to-school sales coordinator that's going to basically help move food to schools throughout the area.
Who would they reach out to, though, if somebody watching is like, "Ooh, I could do that"?
You can go to foodconnects.org, and you should get sent right to the we have job openings page.
Okay.
Yeah. All
right. So employment thing. So
thank you for that.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about farm to school for a second, because this is a program that I'm have a little bit more familiarity with, just because I kind of like this concept of kind of getting them at a young age to be a little bit more self-sustaining, right? When it comes to their food and nutrition. So explain the program a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's great. So we work with about 30 schools in the area, and it changes every year at every school. But the whole purpose is to support the school's goals around food and farming and nutrition education.
Right.
So that includes school gardens, that includes mobile cooking carts, that includes support around the Harvest of the Month program. So it's really all about connecting kids with their food. What we've seen a lot of success around is kids growing food in the garden, using the mobile cooking cart and preparing something with food that they harvested, they're much more likely to eat that.
Yeah.
Because they've had a part in all of it along the way. So more of that, we're basically trying to create lifelong eating habits for kids, knowing where their food comes from and being willing to eat and try new vegetables in particular.
Veggies are hard, which it speaks to part of your mission, transforming the local food system. I guess that would be a part of it.
That's a part, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. At the end of the day, the farm to school program is trying to create demand for future eaters of local food and supporting local farmers in the future.
You know what? My favorite part of this program is, and it just started happening a couple of years ago. You drive past a school and you see these raised vegetable beds in these like weird spots and little green areas around the school, and I assume that's all part of Food Connects. So whenever you go past the school and you see these, it's probably connected to Food Connects.
Yeah, that's right. We're celebrating our 10th year at Food Connects, and I've been going through old photos of in preparation for a then and now storytelling, and there's pictures of me and dumping compost out of my truck 12, 13, 14 years ago,
right,
and getting school gardens started. So it's pretty exciting to think about how far it's gone, and most schools have gardens now, and more teachers are engaged with that. And kids seem to be really connecting with that outdoor education, and the hands-on learning, I think, is really important for a lot of kids, too.
It's a great program. And I think what you guys do with, buying food from local farmers to give them that outlet to kind of, generate more revenue to keep doing what they're doing, because it's not easy work. That we know. We've recognized that. It is great. But let's come back to one of the reasons that we invited you on to Vermontitude today, and that was to talk a little bit about the capital campaign. Like, how do people, if they're watching this and they see this, like, how do they contribute? How do they get a hold of somebody?
Yeah, I think the best way to do that is to go to our website. There are donation links and pages. You can also contact our development director, Lissa Harris. It's pretty easy through email, Lissa, Lissa, at foodconnects.org. Or you can contact me, Richard, at foodconnects.org. Right. We're excited to announce that we're 70% of the way towards our $1 million goal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We did get a $500,000 earmark from Senator Leahy, which really helped pave the way. So we're trying to match that essentially with some other state and federal grants and local contributions.
All right.
We're trying to make this a community-based food system, and in order to do that, we have to make investments in some pretty expensive capital purchases. So, that's where we're trying to get community ownership, community investment in our infrastructure that's shared. Big walk-in coolers, refrigerated vehicles. Those are all very capital intensive, and right now those are largely in the hands of big companies that are multinational, that are not necessarily putting our rural communities first in their business model.
Right.
And I think the only way to really reclaim our food system and make sure that it's working for our producers and our eaters is community ownership. So really hoping to lean into our community to support that vision.
So Food Connects, to me, is in our community, working with our community, for our community, and to kind of expand this locally sourced food and, again, buying from our neighbors to supply to our neighbors. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a whole different feel from the other bigger folks that do the same thing. And they have a purpose, but this one I feel really fits the vision of the space that we live in, which is called Windham County.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I think one final comment is I was at a store yesterday, and there were some products that were missing in the store. There's been a lot of disruption from the flood.
Yeah,
and we sell those products, but this store doesn't happen to buy them from us. It's a Windham County product. But it has to go into a big centralized facility.
Yeah.
And then it has to make it back out into our communities. And those products were missing. And I, had that feeling of, we could have that product there because I know it's in our warehouse. I know that we can get it. But these larger companies are putting their big customers, their more profitable customers first. And our small little stores are seeing empty shelves.
All right.
So this is a perfect example of why we exist and what we're trying to do here.
Well, good for you, man. And good luck with the campaign. We'll be paying close attention to it. Let us know what we can do to help.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
All right. That's Richard Berkfield, founder and executive director of Food Connects. Thanks for jumping on Vermontitude today.
Thanks for having me.